Happy here. If I could quickly just have the Plant City Main Street Board, if you're here on behalf of the board, if you can stand up and just kind of be recognized. And just thank all of you for your efforts in getting us to this point. And we also have a city commissioner with us, Mr. Nate Tilton is here. If y'all could just say hi to Nate. Thank you for being a supporter. Nate's been a huge supporter of Main Street. We appreciate him being here. But we have with us today, we have Randy Wilson and a team that he has assembled from Community Design Solutions. They will be here for the next couple of days finalizing this design plan, which will be the vision of what our downtown looks like and things we can execute over the next 3 to 5 years. And so I'm going to turn it over to Randy to introduce his team, kind of get into the meat of the presentation. But just thank you all for being here, and Randy, thank you for being here as well.
Well, good evening. I'm smart enough to realize I'm the only thing standing between you and supper, so we're going to jump right in. How about that? Again, my name is Randy Wilson, and I'm with Community Design Solutions out of Columbia, South Carolina. But you may be wondering why somebody from South Carolina working here in Florida. Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, I have the privilege in South Carolina of serving as their statewide Main Street architect. And so by virtue of that role and another place, I knew Ronnie Wood for many, many years as she directed the statewide program for Main Street here in Florida. And so we've worked in many, many towns all across America, including Florida, as well as many of my ultra-talented team members. The rest of the team, and if you wouldn't mind just standing up when I introduce you, this is Trip Muldrow. Trip is with Arnett Muldrow and Associates out of Greenville, South Carolina. Trip will be heading up our market analysis component of this work. We believe very strongly that you have to understand the economic factors affecting your place to make judicial decisions. Now, we have an invisible person on our team. His name is Sean Turpak. He's not here. He's actually back in Greenville, South Carolina. He's working remotely on some of our branding and marketing work, and he'll be working in concert with Trip. Andy Calback, over on the far left, is with Calback Design and Planning, and Andy hails all the way from Oakland, Maine. So he decided to leave the comfort of 70-degree weather to enjoy Florida in September. So very smart move. But Andy's a really talented urban planner and landscape architect. He will be spearheading the planning side of what we're doing. And then finally, we have Mary Haley Thompson here on the front. Mary Haley hails from Anderson, South Carolina, where she works in that city's economic development department. And she is really great at developing entrepreneurship, especially among young millennials. Creative incentive packages and things of that nature. And so that's the team that we've assembled to bring here to Plant City. Let me tell you kind of what we're doing, because we throw these words out, and words are important. They mean things. And so if you're sitting in the audience, you're asking, what is this downtown vision plan? Let me unpack those 3 words very quickly. Downtown is obvious. We restricted our scope to this area downtown so that we don't dilute our efforts. And we give singular focus on this area, this most important area of your community. Downtowns are extremely important because they're the only place in the community that are unique and original. I want you to think about right now the places, these great places you have in your community, for example, out where the big box retailers are and the hotels are. Those are awesome. Those are so helpful for your community. But guess what? I can see the same things in South Carolina. But I can only see the assemblage of historic buildings that you have here in Plant City in one place on the planet, and that's downtown Plant City. And that's why downtowns are so important. They're the heart and they're the soul of our communities, and so we want to give them consummate care. The second word, in my humble opinion, is the most important word. It's the word vision. You may figure this out in a second. I've already confessed it to Stephen, who's the pastor here. I'm a part-time pastor as well as an architect, okay? And in Proverbs 29:18, it says, without vision, the people perish. Or in the NIV, it says, without vision, the people are unrestrained. And the basic imagery is, in absence of a vision, people go in all different directions, right? They're unrestrained. Doesn't even mean they're doing bad things. They're going in bad directions. They're just going in many directions. And so their efforts are diluted. And what happens when we agree on a vision, and that's why you're here to participate in crafting this vision for you downtown, is that everybody can pull in the same common direction, and all of a sudden, it's far more powerful. And the last word is the word plan, and I gotta be honest with you, that's my least favorite word. And the reason the word plan is my least favorite word is because there's so many plans, and people get confused. Is it an action plan? Is it a strategic plan? Is it a master plan? Is it a comp plan? There are lots of different plans. And so actually the word that I prefer to use anymore is the word roadmap. So we're going to create a plan for you, but what we hope it does for you is provide you a roadmap, very clear directions of where to go in the very near future. And the commitment that we're going to make to you is we're not going to throw at you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ideas. Rather, we're going to give you a couple of really strategic, critical things you need to do downtown to take you from good to great. I hope that resonates with you because I think we do a disservice when we just say do all these things and we have no roadmap on how to do it. We'd rather give you a couple, 4, 6, 7 key things and then give you specific tactics on how to accomplish it. Okay? So that's what we're doing, and here's some of the facets of how we're going to do that work. Actually, that's a very important slide. Thank you for coming tonight. You're giving up precious time to give us verbal input into this process. It may shock you to realize I'm a painful introvert. And so I figured in the room this large, there's probably somebody else who has great ideas, but who would be scared to death of saying them out loud. If that's you, I got good news. All you need to go to surveymonkey.com/r/Plant City Downtown. And we have a survey online for you that will help Tripp in his work, and it also provides you a chance to give input into the process behind the comfort of your computer. So again, or maybe you hear something tonight and it sparks an idea later, tonight or tomorrow morning, then go online and enter your survey there. So thank you for doing that. So what we're going to do, 4 things. I liken it to this 4-legged stool. If you're a parent, you may have given your children a 4-legged stool, and maybe as a child you have one. And when we think a stool like that is most balanced when it has all 4 legs working together. And so what we're going to be doing are these 4 things. As I mentioned, Tripp's going to be looking at a market analysis of your downtown area. And the reason we do that is we feel like our recommendations need to be rooted in some economic development realities. Okay, we just don't want to pick something high in the sky. And so we want to understand the economic forces that are affecting your downtown. Branding and marketing, we want to work within some of the systems you already have in place and just complement those. But we just feel like we want to be helpful to you on how do you communicate your story. We've heard from a lot of people today about the kind of vibe and feel we want to have downtown. And that's one of the things you can communicate through branding and marketing. Design and planning, of course, that Andy and I will be spearheading. How does your downtown look? How does your downtown function? Those things are critical to whether people are willing to come and visit your downtown or not. And lastly, again, the commitment we're going to make is we're going to try to empower you with the tools you need to get the job done. It doesn't do any good to come up with great ideas if you don't know how to make it happen. So again, Tripp is going to be crunching a lot of numbers. And the thing I appreciate about the way he does his work is I'm a creative. I'm allergic to spreadsheets. He takes that kind of information and makes it so somebody like me can understand. And when it's done, if you notice on the previous slide was numbers and illustrative, he's going to illustrate, categories of retail and other things that we feel like you are uniquely prepared to recruit and sustain and support in your downtown. And so he'll be making some of those recommendations. Again, Sean, working remotely back in Greenville, will be working on some branding and some marketing collateral. It could be anything from signs to banners to advertisements to logos and taglines and things of that nature. Matter of fact, you don't even know it, but in just a minute, you're going to help us with some of that information. Andy and I are going to be preparing some plans, some renderings, some before and after renderings to illustrate some of our recommendations. It's just been my experience going back to that first word, vision. People respond best when they can see what's being proposed. Words are important, written documents are important, but pictures capture people's imaginations. And so that's what we're going to try to provide for you come Thursday. And last but not least, and I've already said it, I'm going to provide you with implementation strategies. How we're going to get it done. And then also equip you with the kind of tools like on the bottom right, it's a summary poster that we can work with you all to craft so that people can see what is intended for the future of downtown Plant City. One of the things that we hear a lot in our line of work, and perhaps you've even heard it out in the conversations, is why is this going to be any different? We've done plans in the past. What is going to make this different? And the only thing I can tell you is this is our approach, and this is why it's worked successfully in the past. Is number one, it's participatory. You're about to get to participate. You get to have a voice into the process. Today we've already heard from dozens upon dozens of people. Tomorrow we'll hear from some more. When it's done, we would have gathered input from hundreds of people who have a vested interest in Plant City. Number two, it's visual. Again, we just think pictures capture people's imaginations, and so we won't let you see the kind of things that you tell us you want, and then we want to respond with it. Third is targeted. Again, we're not going to try to solve every problem in the Plant City community. We just don't have time, effort, and money to do that. So we're just going to keep our area focused on downtown, so we focus on that area. And lastly, share it. Creating documents like the one on the right so that people can share it. And that poster that we created for the master plan in Starkville, Mississippi, the merchants downtown put it in their windows so that lots of people got to see. This isn't just a plan for the city. It doesn't just isn't a plan for the Main Street program. This is your plan. It belongs to you because it's your downtown. And so we want to share the process. We want to share the product so that everybody has a chance to have input. And with that, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. And so for the next few moments, I'm going to ask a series of questions. I didn't count, but I think there will probably be 5 or 6 or 7. And there's really only one or two ground rules that I can remember in this time. The first is to put you at ease. And the first ground rule is I'm only asking for your opinion. There are no right or wrong answers to these questions. It's just your opinion. And so please feel the freedom to speak out. Okay? This is a safe place, so feel free. Number 2, the only ground rule is you can't debate somebody else's opinion. Okay? I'm not going to ask you what your favorite color is, but let's pretend I did. And I remember your name was T, so I'm going to call you out. So T says her favorite color is yellow, because that's my favorite color. And Christy says, why do you like yellow? Yellow's a nasty color. No, you can't do that. I just want you to know what Christy's favorite color is, okay? So those are the only 2 ground rules. Tell me your opinions, and don't debate somebody else's opinion. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay, all right. So the first question is something. If you were to try to describe the essence, the character of downtown Plant City in one word, what would that word be?
Dull. Yes.
Dull. Okay, good. All
Beautiful.
Right. And by the way, it can be a positive word or it can be a negative word. So the first word is dull. Okay, good. Yes, sir. Railroad. Absolutely. It definitely defines your character downtown. Yes, sir. Charm. Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that we all agree to, and I see those things, today was y'all are in a great, enviable position. It's not like you're in a destitute downtown that we're trying to rescue you. You're a good downtown, we're just trying to make it great. And charm is certainly part of it. All right, I saw that hand and one up here. Yes, sir. Historic. Great word. Somebody over here had a hand.
I am historic as well.
Historic, okay. And I believe. Okay, yes, sir. Opportunity. Absolutely. That's a great empowering word. It speaks to both what you are and what you can be. Yes, ma'am.
Plain. It doesn't, there's so much about downtown that is the same. Really needs to be provided.
That's a great observation. So she said it was plain, and a lot of things in downtown seem the same or similar to each other, and there just needs to be more variety. Terrific input. Yes, ma'am. Glass ceiling. I don't mean to pick on the spot, but can you explain that a little bit? Or?
There's like a glass ceiling that keeps the community separate.
Okay. Do us a favor. Would you just let us give us some insight into that? We'd love to know what you mean by that. But a glass ceiling, it just seems like there's a barrier that we keep bumping up against and we can't break through. Yes, ma'am.
Family, I think people value family a lot here.
Good, family. Good. Yes, sir. Potential. Very good. Yes, sir. Friendly. We certainly found that out today. Y'all did a great friendly post. Yes, sir. Buildings. Yeah. Beautiful historic buildings. Yes, ma'am. Separate. Maybe, like from the rest of the community? Just in it? Okay. Got it. Okay, so she feels like downtown is separate and from other parts of Plant City, kind of disconnected. By the way, I should have said this at the beginning. Mary Haley is recording everything you said. So I didn't mean that to be bad. No, what I mean is I just want you to know we're serious about hearing from you. We're going to document it so we can refer back to it later. Who else? Well, lots of them. Yes, sir. Potential, good. I think we heard that before. That's a good one. Yes, ma'am.
I think it's
Barren. Yes. Okay, lack of plant life. Good. Yeah, it's amazing the difference colorful plants and flowers can make in downtown. Yes, sir.
Somehow we gotta get the word changing in here.
Change.
I was just thinking, if we had had this meeting 10 years ago, right here in this church, half the people in this room would not have been here. We've got a great younger generation coming in, and so it's going to be changing.
That's outstanding. So he said changing it, and I think implicit that you were just talking about the positive momentum that's here and the fact that you're growing. Yes, ma'am. Okay, sure. Yeah, we want to see.
Into buildings to find people about the history of Lincoln, but it can be more outward, more colorful, more
Yeah.
bright, with the different diversity.
An outward expression of the diversity that we desire to have. Yes, sir. Vacancy. Okay. Yeah. Another word to describe that. Yes, sir.
Beige.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, I do this training on historic color theory, and I have this thing, it's like, life is too short to not have color in your life. I agree. Let's avoid the beiges and the whites. Yes, sir. Accessible. Good. Oh, that's exactly right. Accessible in the sense of its relationship to places like Tampa and Orlando. Other words to describe the essence of downtown. Yes, sir. Hidden or underappreciated. Yes, like it's kind of a well-kept secret. Good. Did you have your hand up? No. Yes, ma'am. Boring. No problem. We work in this really cool place in the Delta, Mississippi called Cleveland. And it's super, super vibrant. It has a university and lots of good things, but their tagline is keep Cleveland boring. It's kind of an undercurrent. So I understand what you're saying. Good. Anybody else? Quaint. Absolutely. Good word. Yeah, as a matter of fact, driving in today from our hotel, just driving through those beautiful historic homes, it just struck us as it's just a beautiful, beautiful, quaint place. Yes, ma'am. Friendly, absolutely. Y'all are a good crowd. I like y'all. Anybody else? One word to describe that.
More than one word. I mentioned railroad.
Yep.
One problem with Plant City for years is when the train comes through, you can be blocked for 15 to 20 minutes.
Sure.
And years ago, when they didn't plan to do overpasses,
Right.
that was really awkward.
That sure can be, yeah.
Because I lived in way across the border, down along with Florida, that's small, Plant City, they have overpasses.
Yeah.
A lot of city planners never followed that.
Right.
That's been a hindrance for years.
Absolutely. So the railroad, while it's a positive in some ways, in some other ways it can be a hindrance. I remember once tripping over to a place, small town, and it had a railroad that came through, and they kept talking about how bad of a hindrance it was, and how long it lasted, and how much traffic it backed up. And we went out and studied it, and it really didn't. Unlike yours, it didn't take that long. It didn't back up that many cars. There you go. You can drink coffee on either side. So, our tagline for them was, well, you can be stuck in rush hour traffic or Orlando or Tampa, but the rush hour in Plant City is only as long as the next train. And it's not quite as bad. All right, so second question. It's similar to the first, but slightly different. And that is, if you were going to try to capture the essence of downtown Plant City through a postcard, we're going to send this postcard to somebody who hasn't been to Plant City. What imagery, what images, photos, sketches, images would you put on that postcard to try to capture the essence of downtown Plant City? Train platform, good. You got a train friend right there, good. Yes, ma'am. Strawberries, absolutely. Yeah, you hit Plant City, the first thing that pops up is strawberry. Postcard image, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Yeah, that mural is a showstopper. Yes, sir. The stores on Collins Street. I love the scale of that street. And Collins has the brick streets